The kitchen still remembers. June is 26 now, and she lives alone in a small apartment with a window that faces east. Every morning the sun comes in early and lands on the kitchen counter in a warm stripe. And every morning, without thinking, June sets her coffee cup right in the middle of that stripe, the way her mother used to.
Her mother has been gone for 3 years. But gone is not the right word. Gone means vanished. Gone means empty. And June's mother is not empty. She is everywhere.
She is in the kitchen. June noticed it first on an autumn afternoon, the October after her mother passed. She was making soup, not from a recipe, just from memory, the way her mother had done. Onions first, sliced thin, cooked low and slow until they turned golden, and the whole apartment filled with a sweetness that had no name. Then carrots, then celery. Then a bay leaf dropped in like a small green boat. June stood at the stove stirring, and somewhere between the onions softening and the broth beginning to simmer, she felt it. A warmth at her back that wasn't the stove, a presence that wasn't a sound, but wasn't silence either. It was the feeling of standing beside someone you love, even when the space beside you is empty.
She didn't turn around. She didn't need to. She just stirred and let the feeling stay. After that, she began to notice her mother in other places, in the way she folded towels, in thirds, never in halves, because her mother had once said, for no particular reason, that towels folded in thirds fit the shelf better, and June had never questioned it and never would. In the way she tucked the sheet under the mattress with a tight hospital corner, the way her mother had shown her one Sunday morning when June was 9. Both of them remaking the bed together, her mother's hands guiding hers, patient and sure. She found her mother in the garden store, standing in front of the lavender. Her mother had grown lavender in every house they'd ever lived in, by the front steps, along the fence, and a cracked pot on the fire escape of that tiny apartment in the city. Lavender doesn't need much, her mother used to say. Just sun and time and a little faith. June bought a small plant that day and set it on her windowsill. And now, when the morning light passes through it, the whole room smells like her mother's hands after an afternoon in the garden. She found her mother in her own voice. One evening, a friend called, upset about something. June doesn't even remember what. June listened, and then said, quietly, "You've gotten through harder things than this. You just don't remember because you were too brave to notice." She hung up the phone and stood very still, because those were her mother's words. She had heard them at 17, sitting on the edge of her mother's bed with her face in her hands, and her mother had sat beside her and said exactly that, in exactly that voice, low and steady, like a hand placed on the center of your back.
She found her mother in the rain. Her mother had loved the rain, not storms, just the soft, steady kind that made the world smell new. She would open the window a few inches and close her eyes and breathe, and June would watch her, and even as a child she understood that her mother was not just smelling the rain, she was resting inside it. She was letting something wash over her that had no name and needed none.
Now June opens her own window when it rains. She closes her eyes. She breathes. And there it is again. Not a memory exactly, but something more alive than memory. A feeling, a warmth. The particular way the air changes when someone who loves you is nearby. June knows her mother is not coming back. She does not wait for her at the door. She does not set a place for her at the table. But she also knows something else, something that took her a long time to understand. Love does not end when a person leaves. It changes shape. It moves into the walls, into the recipes, into the way you fold a towel or tuck a sheet, or speak to a friend who is hurting. It becomes the lavender on your windowsill,
It becomes the stripe of sun on the counter where you set your cup each morning without knowing why.
It becomes you.
Tonight, June will make soup again. She will slice the onions thin and cook them slow. She will drop in a bay leaf like a small green boat. The kitchen will fill with that sweetness, and the warmth will be at her back. And she will not turn around, because she does not need to.
Her mother is not gone. Her mother is the soup, the lavender, the rain, the voice, the light.
Her mother is the love that learned how to stay.